Hey everybody, I'm Joshua Orro, the Mustang Prince, and welcome to Mustang Prince Oral Reports. Now, for this episode, let's talk about trolls. Of course, we already know about the happy-go-lucky trolls who love singing and dancing, but when it comes to fantasy, trolls can mostly be portrayed as monstrous creatures who guard bridges. They can also be funny creatures who wear boxes and help with machinery, or they can be wise soothsayers or shamans, even though they have the most inappropriate song in animation history, believe me. However, today we're going to go over an episode where Princess Sofia meets a pack of friendly trolls who live underneath her castle. So, airing on television on January 25th, 2013, this is Let the Good Times Troll. So, in this episode, Princess Sofia befriends the castle trolls who live in a cave beneath her castle, and she finds that a misunderstanding has caused a rift between them and the royal family. Unfortunately, trouble ensues when her dad, King Roland II, can't let go of his fear of their banging, even when she brings them to the castle. Thankfully, Sofia soon manages to persuade her dad to get to know them. So, what do I personally think of this episode? Well, let me put it like this. I like it more than the big sleepover, but less than just one of the princes. But let me explain why in my Mustang notes. Now, believe it or not, the title of this episode is based on the phrase, "Let the good times roll," which is also the name of a jump blues song by Louis Jordan. Plus, the phrase was also sung in the Cars song Good Times Roll. Plus, this episode makes references to two songs by Quillinez, which are Troll and Noise. Also to note, this is the first time where Sofia strengthens ties between her family and supernatural creatures. The second time was in the Floating Palace special. Also, the moral of this episode is you shouldn't jump to conclusions until you have all the facts, which is another lesson that I know very well, though I wish my parents could do the same. As for the animation, well, to me, the CGI animation is still great, and I absolutely love how the animators designed the troll's cave. I mean, it looks absolutely breathtaking due to the lighting, and it's also very creative with the grotto village having tree houses and a giant wall with crystals that resemble a starry sky. The song featured in this episode is called Make Some Noise, sung by Gnarly and the other castle trolls. To me, this has got to be one of the catchiest songs in the entire show, next to a few others that I'll talk about throughout this marathon. What I like about this song is how it explains what makes the trolls happy and what they do, like making music with their clubs. Also, believe it or not, whenever I listen to this song, it makes me want to tap my feet and dance along to it. By the way, if there's one flaw that I have to point out, well, it's that this is one of two episodes that the trolls are featured in. So, in other words, we don't see the castle trolls a lot throughout this show, which is disappointing since, to me, these guys look like fun and friendly creatures. And now let's move on to the characters and their voice actors. Princess Sofia, again, is voiced by Ariel Winter, whom has been a young Kyrie in Kingdom Hearts Birth by Sleep, a few of Thumper's sisters in Bambi 2, Marina in Jake and the Neverland Pirates, and Smurf Lily in Smurfs the Lost Village. In this episode, after making friends with the castle trolls, Sofia is hoping to convince her family that these trolls are friendly, and she tries to do so by having them perform after the acrobats. To me, I like that Sofia sees the good in almost everybody, and I think she has a good heart, and she also has a good intention for fixing a misunderstanding from years ago. Sofia's brother, Prince James, is voiced again by Zach Callison, who voiced King Tut in Mr. Peabody and Sherman. In this episode, James tells Sofia and Queen Miranda that King Roland's grandfather, King Gideon, chased the trolls away from the castle due to him believing that they were attacking the castle, and he declared that the trolls stay in their cave. However, later, James helps Sofia sneak Gnarly and the other trolls into the castle, and he also gets a club in return. Next we come to Sofia's dad, King Roland II, voiced by Travis Willingham, who voiced Kuko in Elena of Avalor and Foreteller Aced in Kingdom Hearts Key back cover. While normally Roland has a kind and humorous personality, there are a few times in the show where he can be a bit overprotective, and in this episode, Roland doesn't want his family to go near the trolls' cave due to his fear that they may attack with their clubs. But thankfully, nearing the end of the episode, Roland gains a change of heart after Sofia tells him what really happened all those years ago. Next up is Sofia's new friend, Gnarly, voiced by veteran voice actor Carlos Alaraquí. To me, like the other castle trolls, Gnarly is a really friendly character, and I like when he shows Sofia around his cave, and also Gnarly tells her that during that night when King Gideon chased his ancestors away, they were actually banging their clubs to make music while they were watching the stars. Also, I thought it was really nice that Gnarly fixed Sofia's kite, and he also gave her a club, and I also thought he was brave when he saved Sofia and Roland when they fell into a pit below an unstable bridge. Finally, we have Gnarly's little sister Teeny, voiced by Zoe Robb. In my eyes, while she doesn't really stick out as much as Gnarly does, I think Teeny is just so adorable that it makes me want to hug her. And now let's move on to my final words. Overall, Let the Good Times Troll is a decent episode, and I like that it teaches us to not jump to conclusions. Also, the castle trolls, while underrated characters, are fun and friendly, and I like that Sofia strengthens the ties between them and her family, just like what she did later with the Maraway Cove Mermaid Colony. Also, I absolutely love the trolls' musical number, and the visuals of their cave is simply breathtaking. So, I give this episode an 81% out of 100. Well, that's all for now. Be sure to join me for a very magical episode. Mustang Power. But for now, let's make some noise.